Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to kind of like my retrospective of the 2025 Elijah uh, Halloween marathon. This is kind of what it looks like. All the movies I watched for this kind of marathon. I think it's a pretty good lineup. I'm not gonna lie. It's a decent lineup. I enjoyed a lot of these movies. I actually really enjoyed a lot of these movies. So it's just kind of like get straight into it. Just kind of like my general thoughts after everything. You can go to my letterbox and check out all of my different reviews, or you can check out my space hey to see all the different reviews as well, where I go really into. I don't go super into depth, but I go probably into more depth than what I'm gonna go into today. But so let's just kind of get straight into it. So, first off, Page of Madness. Decent movie. Where we kind of start off with the marathon this year is we start off in the 1920s, 1926. And so you can kind of imagine that, obviously this movie is a little bit dated, but still, it's a decent movie. I was surprised by how much I was able to gather, even though it is 1920s Japan, so it's pretty cool. Now we go into Matango. This is the first kind of surprise of the marathon for me. This is a 1960s Japanese movie. Go into here. Ishiro Honda. You don't know anything about him. He's the guy that made the Godzilla movies back in the day. And so this is one of his darker movies, 1960s, a little bit later into his career. And I really, really enjoyed this movie. This movie was really, really good. It's essentially about mushroom people. Well, it's not really about mushroom people. It's about these group of Japanese, I guess you could say, upper class Japanese people getting stranded on an island after like a yacht cruise. And so they kind of get stranded on this island. And essentially they have to survive on the island. Meanwhile, these mushrooms and mushroom people kind of try to attack them and whatnot. It's really interesting. Then we move on to Kuroneko. Alright, so Kuroneko was not one I totally enjoyed. I feel like I enjoyed it more than Page of Madness. But Kuroneko, while it was really good when it came to it, like its filmmaking and like that kind of stuff, ultimately I couldn't really vibe with it when it came to the story, especially near the end, the third act. Just wasn't really for me. Move on to Night of the Living Dead. I really enjoyed this one. This is a good one. Not as much as Matango, but Night of the Living Dead was a decent little romp for a zombie movie of this marathon. And that's going to be a little bit of a theme as we gonna go further in. I enjoyed this one. It was good. Moving on though, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre was one that I felt as if the filmmaking was good, but as you guys saw in my review, I had this complaint that you had this idea of like a group of people going into a bad situation, right? But those people would only be aware of their bad situation very late into the runtime. So for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, really, only when the sole survivor kind of is created is when that survivor is aware of the situation that they are in. I feel as though that kind of creates a weird, boring scenario, right? But everything else about this movie was good. I like the costumes and the props and the depictions of the stuff going on there. It was a good little romp. And then we move on to Eraserhead. Eraserhead was one I didn't really vibe with, I ultimately did like it, like Kuroneko, but I feel as though there was just some things I just couldn't really vibe with, I feel like I more enjoyed the beginning of the movie. Like when you had if I remember correctly, you had the dad character, you had Eraserhead guy. You had the guy, what's his name? Henry Spencer. you had him kind of meet up with his girlfriend's dad and like his family and all that type of stuff. And I feel like that's when the movie peaked for me. That's when it was like the most interesting. When you have like these side characters into the picture, that's when Eraserhead was most interesting. This was my first David Lynch movie, so I'm not sure if the rest of his stuff is like that. It was decent romp. Dawn of the Dead was again pretty good. Like Romero's other movie, Night of the Living Dead, this one kind of makes it a little bit more modern, brings it into the modern era a little bit more. And as for whether or not I like it more than Night of the Living Dead, I feel like I like it around the same area, around the same level. It just tries to accomplish different things, and I feel like it does accomplish those things successfully. Whereas Night of the Living Dead, as I said in my review, was more of a critique of American sensibilities during the Cold War. Dawn of the Dead, while still taking place during the Cold War, is more so a critique of the American lifestyle in general, like, you know, consumerism and all that type of stuff. I mean, literally, the movie takes place in the mall. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you know, it was a good movie. Friday the 13th, I didn't really vibe with it. I thought it was okay. I really don't get the hype of this movie, bro. I really do not get the hype of this movie. It's like, again, it's a similar complaint to what I had with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you had the sole survivor be picked and they are the only ones that are aware of the situation they are in. It creates this really boring scenario, right? Where you kind of have like, yo, there's a bunch of dudes, bunch of people hanging out, you know, at a summer camp, and meanwhile people are getting picked off left and right, you know. And then only near like the last 30-20 minutes of the movie is it like, oh wow, we're getting hunted, but oh, I'm the only survivor, so it's not really that entertaining. Do you guys understand what I'm saying here? Do you understand what I'm putting down? I feel like that makes sense. That's the reason why I couldn't really vibe with Friday the 13th. Wasn't really for me. But now we head into Evil Dead. 1981. I like this movie. This was good. My big thing about Evil Dead is I like the scenario. It's a really interesting scenario. Basically, like, how would I describe it? It's almost like a Survivor kind of story, you know, but I feel like it's told in a very interesting way. You have a lot of cool props and practical effects. I really like Bruce Campbell in this movie. Bruce Campbell was really good in this movie. I liked him. He's a lead kind of protagonist, plays Ash. I really liked it. Looking down here, actually, what the hell? My boys, come on. It was better than a 3 out of 10. Come on. I mean, a 3 out of 5. Come on. Going back though. Looking over here. Okay, we got our first Grail. We got our first Kino here. Combat Shock, bro. Combat Shock I'd say, looking here, I'd say Combat Shock is my favorite movie of this 2025 Halloween marathon. It's my favorite one in this marathon. It's the 10th movie we've seen in this marathon, and I feel like it's the best. Why do I like this movie so much? Why? I feel like it's my favorite because you have these good performances. For instance, Rick Giovinazzo. I said that right? Yeah, Giovinazzo. You have this guy he directed the movie, he plays the main character. He's kind of like this, you know, crazy combat vet, you know, comes back from Vietnam. The Vietnam stuff was really cool looking too. But he basically comes back from Vietnam. He lives in Staten Island, and he's like, I gotta get a job. And it's basically just him exploring Staten Island, trying to get a job, and then like he just kind of devolves more and more into madness. And it's a funny movie too. I gotta say this. It's a funny movie too. Where's the guy? There's a guy in here. Yeah. I think Labo, or maybe Morb. I think it's Labo. He's dude that keeps on like burping. He has like this like Japanese thing on his forehead. He's really funny in the movie. This whole movie is just it's such a crazy movie. I wasn't expecting a lot from this movie when I added it to the list, but it really blew me out of the water. Low budget. It's just pure, unadulterated filmmaking. I really recommend this one. Moving on though, we go on to It, which is one of those. It's another classic like Friday the 13th. And again, this is a really, I really vibed with this one too. Didn't like it as much as Combat Shock, but I really liked it. And of course, this movie did cause, as you guys could see, the problem. Here, I meant to watch it on the 11th, but as you guys could see, where is it? Yeah, 192 minutes. This movie is over 3 hours long, bro. I was not finishing that in one night, so I got pretty far into it, and then I had to save it for the next day. But it was a really good movie. A lot like what a lot of people say. I do see that, yeah, the kid parts are better than the adult parts. You know, where you have I feel like the kid performances were better than the adult performances, in a weird way. Like that feels really. It feels like a really weird thing. Usually in movies, you know, the kid performances are a lot worse than the adult performances, but here it's kind of switched up. But yeah, it was a good movie. I liked, of course, you know, you have Tim Curry as Pennywise. He was really good there. Very, very good. Scream. Now we're on to we're into the 90s with It, and then into the Scream. Scream was good. It was good. It was a good romp. I feel like Scream. I can't really say too much about it. Oh, I can say this though. Where is she? Bro, what's her name? Drew Barrymore, bro. Beginning of the movie, bro. Oh my god. I won't say too much. But yeah, I can't really say too much about Scream. It's just like, I feel like it's just kind of like a basic horror movie, but it's also a horror movie, you know, which I think does lend it, you know, that half a star. I don't know. It's like really self-referential. You know, it knows what it's trying to do, I guess, and I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Here we get into the block. I'm not sure what I was thinking. I'm not sure what I was thinking, man, when I added these three guys to this movie list. This is when we get into the 2025 Halloween marathon part, where it's just a block of gore, man. Like these are the gory movies of the 2025 Halloween marathon. And the first one, I'm not sure where I found this movie, Kichiku. I'm not sure where I found it. I'm not sure how I added it to the list. I wish I didn't, because this movie was bad. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking about changing the score. I don't think it's like a terrible movie. I really don't think it's a terrible movie. But I definitely don't think it was amazing. This movie, I feel like I'll give it this one maybe positive point. It's definitely the scariest out of all these movies. You know, a lot of these movies, like, I'm not gonna lie, Combat Shock, is it really a horror movie? It has the horror genre attached to it on Letterboxd, but I'm not sure if I would really attach it to a horror. I would really say it's a horror movie. Kichiku is 100% a horror movie. It's like, this is bad, bruh. This is bad. This movie, like if you want like a disturbing, like if this was a found footage movie, this would be like A+, bro. People will be talking about this to this day. But because it's not like found footage, like I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say, but yeah, if you want a disturbing movie, if you want a disturbing movie, then Kichiku's the one for you. And you can tell because you can't find this movie anywhere. Like, I had to watch this movie on literally a website that's called effedupmovies.com. So, yeah, Kichiku, not my favorite, but definitely the scariest. Moving on now, we got Audition. Again, part of this block, it's definitely gory and stuff. I think it was better than Kichiku. Maybe I'd say it's more basic than Kichiku, but like, I don't know. It's a decent movie. Wasn't the biggest fan of it. I thought like, kind of tried to be like a couple things that it really wasn't. I don't know. And then we actually go to Ichi the Killer. Ichi the Killer was a really interesting movie, actually. Gory, like Audition and Kichiku, but I feel like it had like actually like a lot of substance to it. Audition and Ichi the Killer is directed by this guy. This guy's crazy. Takashi Mike, bro. This dude, Takashi Mike. Bro, Takashi Mike is the realest dude to do filmmaking, but he's like the worst filmmaker, but also the best. I love my bro. But yeah, Ichi Killer. This is an Ichi. This actually is an Ichi. This is what's his name? I forget. Yeah, Kakihara. This is my boy Kakihara. What makes Ichi the Killer is the stylization of the movie, but also Kakihara. Kakihara is legitimately one of my favorite characters now in all of filmmaking, bro. Kakihara is so fun. He's played by this guy Tadanobu Asano, and he's really good. He's in a couple things. He's in like the Thor movies. He's a pretty popular actor. Yeah, he's really good here. Just really good here. Moving on though. We got Resident Evil. Yeah, I didn't vibe with Resident Evil. In some ways, you could kind of see Resident Evil as being worse than Kichiku in some ways, because it's just so basic. It feels so like, it just feels very basic. I gave it a star because I'm a shill for early 2000 cinema, and we're in the early 2000s now when it comes to movies. So I did have to shill it a little bit. But yeah, wasn't my favorite. I think I actually fell asleep a little bit during this movie. It presents a lot of exciting elements, but it just presents it in such a boring way, I guess. I don't know. Dog Soldiers. Dog Soldiers is another surprise. Dog Soldiers was another one of my favorites in this marathon. Why is it my favorite? I feel like because maybe it could just because, up to this point, we've been in Japan and America a lot. It felt really refreshing to have a horror movie set in the UK. I believe Scotland, it is. And, but also just like the concept, the fact that we have like these very strong, werewolf characters, and you have like these, these characters trying to survive in the house, kind of like defending it in a sort of similar way to Evil Dead. And plus the movie's funny too. I felt like the movie was pretty funny. You have these like what's the actor's name? Let me see. I think I wrote it in my review. Sorry. Oh yeah, my goat Lucius Varenus is in this movie. Yo, what's his name? It's Kevin McKidd, bro. Kevin McKidd's in this movie, bro. My goat, Lucius Varenus. If y'all haven't watched Rome, watch Rome, HBO's Rome. Probably the most underrated show HBO has ever put out, man. So good. Yeah, Dog Soldiers, great movie. If you're watching Dog Soldiers, come for the Scottish accents and the Scottish expletives. Very good. It's very good. Signs. We went down a little bit in terms of the score, but not too bad. It's a decent movie. Signs. I feel like this is one of the first M. Night Shyamalan movies I've seen. I've seen a couple of his movies. I've seen the one with Bruce Willis, but this is the one that this is the first one I've seen in a while by him. But Signs I thought was good. I feel like with Signs, the aliens should have been. I feel like we should have got the aliens a little bit later. Like I feel like it should have been built up a little bit more. As it is, it's built up to a decent degree, but I feel like it could have been built up more to be even more interesting. As well, I feel like the main positive thing I'd say about this film is that I feel like the kid performances they're very alien. They feel very unnatural, and that actually helps the film in a lot of ways. It makes it feel very like off-putting. But yeah, now we're heading into China, bro. 2004, we got Dumplings. Dumplings is a disgusting movie, bro. Like this movie is gross. This movie's gross. It's scary, but I do think it's actually a good movie. Yeah, this movie will turn you pro-life. It'll turn you pro-vegan. It'll turn you into a lot of things. Yeah, it's a crazy movie. Now we're heading into Three Extremes. Okay, so this is a little bit weird. So, Dumplings was originally a short film for Three Extremes, right? So it was part of Three Extremes, and but then it was turned into a full-length movie called Dumplings. But Three Extremes also has two other short stories part of it. Those being Cut and I believe Box. So you have Cut and Box. Cut is my favorite one of the three, I would say. I really, really vibed with Cut. It's by the South Korean filmmaker, the guy that did Old Boy. Where is he, bro? Yeah, Park Chan-wook. Yeah, Park Chan-wook was really good. Cut. It's just a really interesting scenario. I really wish it would have been turned into a full movie. Moving on, though, we have, what was it, Box? Box, I feel like, was a good one, too. Box is actually by Takashi Miike again. But I thought, it's weird. Takashi Miike, all of his, like, full-length movies are, like, these crazy, like, insane. I mean, just look at the banner for Ichi the Killer. Look at this. Look at this. They're insane. They're crazy. But the short story by Takashi Miike, the short one, is actually insanely boring. It's one of the most boring things part of this list. It's so boring. Sure, you could say it's, foreboding, maybe, a little creepy, but really, it's not really that creepy. Maybe like one part, but I don't know, it's just boring. Speaking of creepy, though, another grail, Noroi the Curse. I think I'm saying that right. Noroi, I don't know. Noroi the Curse, 2005. 4.5 stars. I really like this one. This is a really good. This is like the first, I believe, found footage movie of this marathon, and it got me into the subgenre. It really brought you in. I think this is the best found footage movie, and I don't know. It's just so good. It's just so good. No music. It really gets you into the vibe that this is a movie within a movie, which I really enjoyed. Really good. I also quite like the performance by, what's his name? Jin Muraki. Plays Masafumi. He's really good. Saw 2. More basic, but hey, it was good. I didn't like it as much as the first Saw. The first Saw is one of my vibe movies, man. It's one of my favorite horror movies, and I just didn't think Saw 2 really lived up to the hype of Saw 1. I don't know. There's some parts I really did enjoy. There's a lot of, it kind of doubles down on the stuff that Saw 1 did so well and does more of it, which I do appreciate. But, I'm a vibe guy. I feel like the vibe here is just off, man. It's just off compared to Saw 1. Saw 1 just has that vibe, man. It's so good. Paranormal Activity. Snooze fest. Really a snooze fest for large parts of it. I feel like in terms of found footage, Paranormal Activity is just way more boring with it. Because I feel like actually I can kind of articulate this here. Noroi the Curse, it presents it as kind of like a documentary within a movie, while Paranormal Activity is more of like a YouTube video within a movie. And I feel like because of that, because it's more of like a amateur presentation, it makes it more boring, However, that being said, what really saves this movie is the last 5 minutes, bro. The last 5 minutes of this movie completely saves it. It was one of the scariest parts of this whole marathon. I thought it was actually kind of genuinely kind of scary. So I do recommend it based off, just to get to the last 5 minutes. It's so good. Trick or Treat. I didn't vibe with this. It's like, I do appreciate it's kind of like a celebration of Halloween. You know, the fact that I even do this marathon to begin with tells you that how much of a fan I am of Halloween. But I feel like this Trick or Treat's just not that good of a movie. It's just not that good of a movie. And I feel like the big part of this is the fact that it's told so non-linearly. There's like these multiple different perspectives and storylines going on, but it's not done in a good way. The runtime is too short to really hit all of them, and these aren't really even storylines, really. Like, they're just lead-ups to get to a punch. You know, they're lead-ups to get to a reveal that makes you go, whoa, that's kind of crazy, that's kind of insane. But then there's not much substance to back any of that up, and really no substance to come after that, you know? So, it also feels like a really 2007 movie. Like, it feels like a 2007 movie, which I can appreciate. But if you're not really into that, then, you know. Alright, now we get into my guilty pleasure pick. My guilty pleasure pick for this marathon is Higurashi When They Cry Outbreak. Listen. Hear me out. Higurashi is one of my favorite movies of... No. Higurashi is one of my favorite games of all time. I love Higurashi. You can see on my Space A profile, I'm a big fan of Higurashi. But, that being said, this movie isn't that good. I'm not gonna lie. It's not the best. It's not the best movie. Let me go in here real quick. It's Higurashi, but it's an OVA, so it's pretty short. I think it's around like an hour. I think. How much is it? It's less than an hour, 52 minutes. So what it tries to do is it tries to kind of like get you up to speed on like what happened in Higurashi, like kind of like the basic story beats of Higurashi, while then kind of adding on the kind of storyline of Outbreak, this kind of alternate scenario of the Higurashi timeline. And because of that, this film feels both very uneventful, but also very too packed in. It feels like there's a lot of stuff going on, but also not a lot of stuff going on, if that makes sense. It's very weird. But still, as a shield for Higurashi, I gave it some points. It does do a lot. I gave it a whole other point. I gave it a whole other star just because it played You Visionen am Spiegel at the end of the OVA. And I started soy jacking, bruh. Like it was so good. I did enjoy that part. Now, moving on to 2014, 1 year later, we got the Babadook, or as I like to call him, the Brobadook. Okay, nah, I'll stop. The Babadook was actually a really good horror movie. It was decent. It was more than decent, really. It was a really good movie. If we just look at it, okay, so here's the thing. This dude, what's his name? I think that's him. Yeah, Sammy. Yeah, Noah. This dude, Sam, or played by Noah Wiseman. Listen. I didn't like him at the beginning of the movie, but you're not supposed to like him at the beginning of the movie. It's so that it can be revealed later on that really, Sam was actually a decent dude at the end. At the end of the day, he was always a decent dude. You were just a monster for not liking him in the beginning. It's literally, I said this in my review, it's the same thing with Howard Hamlin in Better Call Saul. I swear to God, I feel like I'm crazy for saying that, but it's true. You, like, at the beginning of Better Call Saul, or really the first half of Better Call Saul, you're not supposed to like Howard Hamlin. You're supposed to hate the dude. But with information revealed during the last season, it's like, oh wow, he's actually a decent dude. Then you kind of reflect back on that previous information and you're like, oh wait, he actually really wasn't that bad of a dude to begin with. You know, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Sam. Sam is literally Howard Hamlin. Ain't that crazy? But yeah, The Babadook's a good horror movie too. I feel like the Babadook himself, like the actual monster, is one of my favorite kind of horror movie monsters now. He has a really like sinister looking vibe to him, I guess. I don't know. Train to Busan, South Korean movie this time. Big 2016 block. This definitely feels like a blockbuster, you know. Whereas the Babadook, Saw 2, Paranormal Activity, they felt like very low budget. Train to Busan, yeah, this is a blockbuster. And wasn't the biggest fan of it, but you know, there's some cool aspects of it. The fact that like kind of like it's honestly, I said this in my review, it feels a lot like a Romero movie in that the zombies are kind of used as like a backdrop. Like the zombie scenario is used as a backdrop to kind of like serve as a commentary on life of a country. And whereas Romero did it for America, who directed this? Who did it? Come on, let me see. Yeon Sang-ho did it for South Korea in Train to Busan. Literally kind of mirroring Romero, which I think is really cool. But moving on to Ju-on Origins, we actually got a TV show this time, a little short series, 4-episode little thing. Ju-on Origins, decent. Wasn't the biggest fan of it. I thought it was pretty boring during large parts of it. This is one scary part. Maybe I can show it. Maybe I can find it. Nah, I'll just put it on screen. This is one part where like this like woman that's like completely black with only her eyes shows up, and that was pretty freaky. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I did not like that. I didn't like that in a horror way. That was pretty scary, but also kind of cool. All right, last two movies. We're into the 2020s. We're into the 2020s. Ju-on Origins. Now we're into Incantation. Incantation was a bop. I like this. This was a good movie. I might even increase the score honestly because I keep on thinking about this movie, like, and that's usually a good sign. So this score might go up. But I only saw this like a couple days ago. And that is, yeah, it was a really good movie. Found footage movie again, like Paranormal Activity, like Noroi. But what makes Incantation different is that, like, as I said in my review, the director, what's his name again? I'm bad with names, bro. Yeah, Kevin Ko. Kevin Ko doesn't kind of adhere to the formula of found footage too much in this movie. Like, he's able to, you know, breathe a little bit, you know. If a shot is called for that would look better not in the video camera, he's gonna take that opportunity to not show it in the video camera to make the shot look as best as it can, if that makes sense. And I appreciate that. I respect that. So, Incantation, really good. And the vibe is really good here, too. The Monkey. The Monkeys are a good movie. Decent romp. Not my favorite, but still. What I really want to just complain about for The Monkey, I saw this yesterday. This dude, bro, where is he? My boy Elijah Wood in here. Where is he, bro? I didn't like this one dude. Yeah, Oz. No, not him. Wait, Osgood Peck? Wait, the director's in this? What does he look like? What was he doing? Who did he play? Uncle Chip. What? I didn't know that. Huh. Oh yeah, this guy, Colin O'Brien. I didn't like this guy. I didn't like him in the movie. He felt very lethargic in the movie. He felt very tired. I didn't like that. It could just be the direction by Osgood Perkins, but I don't know. It just wasn't for my vibe. Alright. Those are the 30 movies I have seen so far. Now, I just got one more movie to see tonight with 28 Days Later. So you guys will see my thoughts on that. But that's pretty much a 2025 Halloween movie marathon. I'm already I'll give you guys a little sneak peek here. Give you guys a little sneak peek of my 2026. This is what it's kind of looking like right now. This looks like an interesting little list. I like this. Got some Goosebumps in here, Beetlejuice, a little Scooby Doo action, a little Japanese stuff as well, but also some stuff from India. Some more Japanese stuff. It's The Exorcist. Got some classics too. I feel like this is gonna be a good marathon too. So keep an eye out for next year. Yeah. All right. Well, see ya.